And now I'd like to call up Magistrate Judge Manabusan and Chief Judge Cynthia Ecube to present the Judge Cristobal Duenas Award.
You know, in the 65-year-old history of the District Court of Guam, there have been 5 persons appointed to the territorial district judge position. Cristobal Duenas was a young person who, along with his first cousin, Carlos Camacho, and Felixberto Flores, decided right after the war to further their education. And this was unusual for Guam, because in those days, people just didn't have the means to go on to continue their education. And Cristobal Duenas did. Graduated from law school at the University of Michigan, came back to Guam, and he became the director of the Department of Revenue, Department of Land Management, and later was appointed a judge in the Island Court of Guam, and then was appointed to become Guam's 3rd territorial district court judge. And when he assumed his position as the District Court of Guam judge, his first cousin that he went along to school with, Carlos Camacho, was the governor of Guam, and his other first cousin that he went to school with, Felixberto Flores, was the Archbishop of the Diocese of Filipina. So that, in a sense, tells us the history of Cristobal Duenas. He received a papal award, the highest, or rather a nomination, the highest papal knighthood that you could get from our Pope, and you know, Cristobal Duenas is that person. So today, we're here delighted to present this year's Cristobal C. Duenas Award. And let me just read the resolution. Whereas the Cristobal C. Duenas Excellence Award recognizes a person for significantly advancing the administration of justice in the District Court of Guam and the federal courts through meritorious deeds and exemplary service. And whereas Cynthia Ecube received her Bachelor of Arts from the University of Minnesota in 1985, and then furthered her education by receiving her Juris Doctorate from Hamline University School of Law in 1990, and whereas in 1991, Cynthia Ecube was admitted to practice law in Guam and was subsequently admitted to practice in the District Court of Guam and the U.S. Court of Appeals, 9th Circuit, in 1992. And whereas Cynthia Ecube began her legal practice in 1991 as an Assistant Attorney General in the Civil Division of the Office of the Attorney General of Guam, and thereafter entered into private practice, joining the law firm of the law offices of Carbolito and Brooks. And there's Chief Justice Carbolito. And the law offices of Barcinas and Turlahi. That's Judge Barcinas right there. And Barcinas Law Office. And whereas Cynthia Ecube established her own solo practice in 2003, and whereas Cynthia Ecube served in many capacities in the community, such as Vice President for the Guam Bar Association from 2001 to 2009, and President for the Guam Bar Association from 2009 to 2015. Throughout her tenure as President of the Guam Bar Association, worked fully in promoting the rule of law in her community, and where Cynthia Ecube has worked tirelessly to help plan and execute the annual Law Week events during her tenure as President of the Guam Bar Association, and where Cynthia Ecube has served on several committees as the District Court of Guam, including the Committee on Discipline from 1997 to 2004, U.S. Magistrate Judge Selection Committee from 2002 to 2003, the Federal Public Defender Selection Committee in 2003, the General Rules Committee from 2013 to 2015, and the Annual District Conference Committee from 2011 to 2015. And whereas since 1996, Cynthia Ecube has zealously served the interests of countless indigent clients as a member of the Criminal Justice Act panel of the District Court of Guam, and whereas Cynthia Ecube has maintained the high levels of professional integrity both in and out of the courtroom, now therefore let it be resolved that Cynthia Ecube is hereby awarded the Cristobal C. Duenas Excellence Award for significantly advancing the administration of justice and legal profession throughout her excellent service, and be it further resolved, the District Court of Guam hereby expresses its gratitude with a sincere Danklu Nasigibus Maasi to Cynthia Ecube for her outstanding dedication, ethics, and professionalism in the practice of law and in the service of the District Court of Guam and the people of Guam. Adopted this 19th day of February 2015. And at this time, let me ask our Chief Judge to say a few words about Ms. Ecube.
Well, let's give Cynthia a round of applause. It's very special because her mother is here, Miss Rebecca Ecube, who's, well, I won't tell you her age, maybe she'll tell you herself, but it's really nice to have her here. Cynthia takes care of her, and we were just really honored that her cousin Aggie White could accompany Rebecca Ecube, Mrs. Rebecca Ecube, over here today, and so thank you, Cynthia. I just want to say a few words. Judge Van talked a little about her career path, and I've had the pleasure of being a prosecutor against Cynthia Ecube when I was a prosecuting attorney. I've had the great opportunity of having her appear before me as a Superior Court judge and now as a federal judge. And I will tell you that during the times when I was a prosecuting attorney and she had handled some cases, she was extremely reasonable. She would come in and talk to me about her clients. She wouldn't be like crybaby Sally about them. She'd be like really reasonable and say, okay, here's the truth about my clients, and I want to make a deal, Francis. And so we would do that. And then when she was in Superior Court, when she appeared before me in Superior Court after I had become a judge, she would handle a lot of domestic cases, and you know, she was really a very good domestic lawyer. She would come in and work closely with the opposing side, because domestic cases are really difficult cases in any judge's courtroom. And the one thing I appreciated about Ms. Ecube was that she was always very civil and very professional towards the other counsels, the other opposing clients. And she always had the best interests of the children in mind when there were major custody battles. She had one case that would never end, and I don't really know what happened to that one case, but she would really work with me and the other counsel on that case, because it was a very difficult child custody and domestic case that lasted for years. The number of 7 years, yeah. Okay. All the years I was a Superior Court judge for 8 years, so pretty much all the years I was a judge. And then I just wanted to just also share this with you. And so in the district court now, so she's moving along in her career. She worked with the Attorney General's office, as you can see. Then she worked with Justice Carbolito's firm, and then she moved into her own solo practice. And then now she, you know, so as I moved to different positions in the federal court, she would appear before me. And one time there was a multi-defendant case. She, along with Lilani Lujan, Roland Montanoia, Mark Smith, Louis Yonza, I can't remember who the other ones. Oh, Stephanie Flores, and who's the other one? Oh, Richard Aarons. They had some difficult case in my courtroom, and the thing that I appreciated about them, because it was a 7-defendant trial, and the thing I appreciated about all 7 of them, and most especially Ms. Ecube, was they kept it together, because it was really a circus in there. And they were very professional again, and very prepared. And you know, as judges, we appreciate that. We want people to be prepared. We want people to be honest. We want them to be, you know, just dignified in the courtroom and very civil. And that's the one thing I do appreciate about Ms. Ecube. And finally, I would say that, you know, other aspect of working with Ms. Ecube has been, as she has been the president of the Guam Bar, she's worked very closely with myself, Jay Areola, my former Ninth Circuit rep, and district rep, and then now with Rodney Jacob, in putting together all our conferences. She worked tirelessly to help us get Justice Sonia Sotomayor here. And it was just, I mean, just really a great pleasure to work with her. And something that Judge Mattabus and I, you know, talk about when we discuss who should get the Cristobal Duenas Award is we want to make sure that the people that receive this award exemplify the attributes of Cristobal Duenas. And for many of us who, or some of us, not all of us here, but there are a few of you here who had the opportunity to appear before Chief Judge Cristobal Duenas. I mean, he really was one of my mentors, and I tell you that every year, but I really do appreciate everything about him and his advice that he gave me when I became a judge, initially as a local judge, and then when I took the bench, the federal bench. And I'm so happy that Judge Mattabus and I were able to have him be here at one of our district court conferences when Chief Judge Kaczynski visited a few years ago. So it's just really an honor to present this award to Ms. Ecube. And more importantly, it's an honor to have her mother here. I always see her mother at some of the restaurants, and it's always nice to talk to her about her daughter. She's always talking to me about her daughter and how proud she is. And I'm glad that she took the time to be with us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we present her award and then the Laddie Stone and her lei that's also handmade, everything's handmade here. Mr. Taitano made the Laddie from the Ifit wood, and Richard Taitano, right? Robert. My husband's name is Robert. Okay, Robert Taitano, sorry Mr. Taitano, and believe me, Mr. Taitano is a tough cookie with us sometimes because he talks to us about the Ifit wood and so forth, how he has to go out and get it. But it's just a pleasure to present that particular Laddie for her. And then the lei that was prepared was also prepared by some locals here on Guam, so we kind of want to do it a little different this year. And then of course the write-up is just self-evident of her career. But before we do that, we'd like to see if Ms. Ecube would like to say a few words. This is her, you know, she's leaving us as president, but I asked her to make sure, you know, I hope you'll still help me and Judge Mattabus and Rodney and the rest. And of course our new president, Mr. Martinez, my co-coach, FD coach. And so ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for Ms. Ecube, and thank you. In your mother's language, Marami Salamat po.
Thank you, Your Honors. I'm usually not used to hearing a lot of good things about myself, so I won't say too much because I like to talk a lot. But I just want to say I'm just humbled by this award. When the judge told me this, I said, no, but Your Honor, there's other people out there. You know, please don't, I'm not. So to kind of just end it, I told her that the reason why I do this is because of our passion for the law and wanting to give back to the community. And so for me, it was always important to work to benefit, you know, our membership, our legal community, our courts, so that we can have a better bar. And I want to also thank my Board of Governors who've been just awesome, and our new president that's going to come in, because I know that they're going to work very hard to fulfill the mission of the bar. And on that note, I told the judges, Chief Judge, Chief Justice, the justices and judges that just because I'm stepping down as president, I'm still committed to working to benefit the bar in any capacity. It's always never been about the award. It was always about making our profession better. Finally, I guess I'm just so proud because my mother is here today, and she's going to be 90 years old. So she's very proud of saying she's 90. So I always tell my mom, this is what you paid for in sacrifices, that one day I would be a lawyer, because she always thought that because I was bottom 10 at Academy, I'd never amount to anything. So thank goodness, 25 years later, I made her, I worked her investments, so she got a lot out of me. But anyway, thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate it.
If I Miss Rebecca Ecube please stand? She's the one that put her through law school. Miss Ecube, let's give her a round of applause. This is the mother of our recipient. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Ecube. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. All right, we're going to go ahead and take, oh, yes, and Your Honor wants to say.
Just a final word, really. Mrs. Ecube was actually my nurse when I was a young kid at Catholic Medical Center. And look how healthy I've become just beyond.